I do believe economic inequality is a problem, and I'll go right back to education. I believe that for me personally, education has been my ladder that I'm climbing to the middle class. So any way we can enable not just traditional aged high school students. I have a family member who's taking advantage of the Rhode Island Promise to go to CCRI. That's great. Any way we can continue to help those students in addition to non-traditional students. I work with CCRI helping veterans access their VA benefits, and we had a couple Vietnam veterans who were given more money to go back to school, but they weren't given enough to finish their credential, which is a real shame because they really loved being in the classroom, and I know that could have been a bridge for them to something better. So my focus is on education, both for college people and for the trades. That's really going to be our bridge to closing that economic inequality gap.
Very good. Mr. Safford?
I believe that we need better candidates to do this. There are some people who you see it in their actions and you see it in their priorities, where they make a move to give a priority to something like we gave priority to Tucket Red Sox when we had a Reproductive Health Care Act, Fair Pay Act, and other acts that would have been more important for more people, but they went after the Paw Sox. And I have to keep going back to this, and I'm going to go back a little bit towards education here. The free tuition program that I mentioned before that was shoved through. When you look at the requirements to keep that tuition free, it's targeted to help people to go to a 2-year school who maybe didn't score as high on their SATs, or they're in a more urban community. These are essentially loans when you fail to meet the criteria. And according to the College Board of Statistics, the Federal Board of Statistics, only 18% of these kids are going to get to go for free. 82% of these kids are going to have loans that they pay back. But instead of Sally Mae loans that you can drag out and defer for 30 years and pay peanuts while you're not making a lot of money, you have to pay that back to the state of Rhode Island at a high interest rate. If you fail to pay it back, they suspend your driver's license and your registration. So these are scam programs put together by self-serving individuals. We need to get that out. That's where we need to start.
Thank you. Dr. Fine?
Economic inequality is a huge problem and a progressive problem for us because of the way it progressively undermines democracy. The reason that our existing legislatures don't work well often is because of the power of lobbyists. And that those lobbyists are fueled by money from different places. But let me tell you that if the president or the CEO of CBS calls the Senate President or the Speaker, the Senate President or Speaker is going to take that call and do pretty much what the CEO of CBS wants. But if one of us calls the Senate President or calls the Speaker, you're not going to get through to anybody but a low-level secretarial legislative aide. That imbalance means that what everybody wants and believes in doesn't happen, and doesn't happen over and over again. So addressing, and I don't want to repeat myself, for me, the beginning of addressing income inequality starts with building a healthcare system that's for people, not for profit, and taking the money that we save and plowing it into education and housing and a couple of other things to make sure we have an informed, committed electorate who vote. This moves forward better when everybody votes and no other way.